Hey there. I am checking to make sure we are live. Otherwise, the one time I don't, I'm sure it won't actually pop up. Looks like good. We are good to go. Hey there. I'm Jason Logston, and this is Exploring Sous Vide. We're all about helping you get the most out of your sous vide machine while talking to some of the biggest names in the business. We are still waiting on Hugh to join us, but I figured I would at least come over and say hi to everyone and see how you are all doing. I also wanted to talk about the sponsor of today's show. We're pretty excited about this. It's Today's episode is brought to you by Fire and Water Cooking. You all know Darren. He has a great Facebook group. He's been a big supporter of the ISVA, and he's currently hosting an amazing contest. I'm going to pop up his contest page here, and I'll drop a link into the comments. So if you are interested in going to the ISVA Summit and you haven't got your tickets yet, you can go to that link, check out Darren's page. And if you buy your tickets through Darren's link and then like him on the various social platforms, you can win a new vacuum sealer. It's the VacMaster VP200 chamber sealer. Looks like an amazing machine. It's got a great footprint, especially for home cooks. And I think it's $450, $500 machine. So we're very excited that Darren's doing this to help get the word out. And we just wanted to, thank him for, supporting the ISVA and getting it out there. So thanks to Fire and Water Cooking and Darren for sponsoring this episode. So like I said, we're still waiting on Hugh to join in. So right now it's just me. If you have any comments or questions, say hi over in there, and otherwise I'll just keep talking at you for a few minutes to see if we can clear up what's currently going on. How's it going, Kevin? Nice to see you. Things are going good on my side. I am currently my presentation is at the ISVA Summit is going to be on exploring time and temperature, basically using a chuck steak. So this morning I portioned out all of my chuck. I'm going to be doing two experiments. The first one's going to be all about time, and the second one's all about temperature. So I portioned out the one chuck roast into about 12-ounce portions, and I'm going to cook them at 130 degrees for 2 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, and 48 hours. And then I'll show you in the presentation the differences in the amount of liquid that's released, and then also the tenderness between it. If you've been sous videing for a while, the 2 hour is going to be almost inedible, and the 48 hour is going to be pretty fall apart fork tender. And then the other experiment I'm going to be doing and talking about is focused on temperature. So I'm going to be doing same type of chuck roast, again, 12-ounce portions, and I'm going to be cooking them at 130 degrees for 36 hours, 140 degrees for 36 hours, 150 degrees for 24 hours, 160 degrees for 18 hours, and 170 degrees for 18 hours. I'm going to be doing kind of the same thing after I take them out. I'm going to be measuring the amount of liquid that's come out. I'm going to be weighing the meat so you can see how much moisture is still in the meat. They're all starting at the same weight, so we can get a good breakdown of that. And then I'll also show you the texture. There's a vast difference in texture between 170 and 130, and I think it's kind of fun to explore the different temperatures. We have a wide range of sous viders coming to the conference, from absolute beginners up through advanced cooks. And I think this is something that a lot of even sous viders that have been sous videing for quite a while don't necessarily understand the difference between the different temperatures and why some are recommended. And nothing frustrates me more when I'm in my Exploring Sous Vide group, and someone posts, how long do I cook a chuck roast for? And they get 18 different times and 12 different temperatures, and they're just confused and they don't understand what they should be doing. But for things like a chuck roast or short ribs, sometimes 130 is right, and sometimes 170 is right, depending on the type of dish that you want. You can have steak-like or basically shredded beef at the end. So it's pretty easy to learn once you kind of see it in action. So that's what I'm focusing on my presentation, and got everything bagged up this morning. If you're just joining us, make sure you say hi. As I said, we're still waiting for Hugh to come on and join us, but I figured I'd come in and say hi and thank you all for coming out. So if you have any questions for me or about the conference or what I've been up to lately, post them in the side. Otherwise, I'll just keep going for a little bit and give Hugh a little bit of time. I'm also screen sharing. Thank you, Mike. He said he missed my wonderful face, so I still had Darren's contest up. And if you're just joining us, I'll just repeat real quickly. Darren's contest is great. If you haven't got your ISVA tickets yet, you can buy them through his link, and you can win a VacMaster. So the link for that is in the comments. So make sure if you haven't got your tickets yet, buy them through Darren's link. Support him. He's been a big supporter of us, and hopefully win yourself a new circulator, which would be amazing. We have Joe Wolanowski from Washington, D.C. How's it going, Joe? Thanks for joining us here. Let's see, what else have I been doing? Sous vide. I know I've been doing a lot of ribs lately. They're one of my favorite things to cook sous vide. If you haven't done sous vide, oh, thank you, Mike. He says I'm the beauty of our partnership. After all, you definitely want to look at my smiling face. So if you haven't done ribs sous vide and you like ribs at all, I highly recommend them. My go-to is about 150 degrees for about 1 to 2 days, depending on the cut. I chill them down and I reheat them either on the grill or on the smoker, and it turns out just this really moist and tender, but not falling off the bone. It still has that nice little bite to it. And that's something I've been going to a lot lately, which has been really fun. And I know that's in the same general range that Darren does and some of the other, grilling and beef experts. I think James Peisker from Porter Road, when he was on this a few episodes ago, I think that's close to what he does as well. And it's been one of my go-tos, and I've bing really enjoying it this summer, especially as we're all stuck in the houses in lockdown. It's been fun to get outside and use the grill some, even if I'm sous videing everything ahead of time. I can at least finish it on the grill, which is always a nice thing to do and kind of get out there. I also am doing, one of the things I've been working on is I have time and temperature charts on my website that I first started doing quite a while ago. 10 years ago is when I first started doing them. I'm going to pull up a link here so you can see them. Sorry, I'm multitasking here. There we go. So I've been doing these for a long time, and a lot of them have been pretty set in stone. And then I've been adding some new stuff as I've been going along, but I don't have many recipes for a lot of stuff and a lot of specific things. Like I have, a lot of pork chop recipes, but I don't necessarily explore the different types of pork chops. If you eat a lot of pork, that there's, like sirloin chops take 8 to 12 hours to actually tenderize because they're pretty tough, where something like a loin chop is super tender and you can eat it right away. So I've been going through my time and temperatures and finding out which ones I don't actually have specific recipes for. So I've been kind of backfilling those right now. And so this week I'm going to be doing pork sirloin chops. I'm looking forward to doing those. And then I'm going to be doing lamb loin chops, which I haven't done yet, I don't think either. So those are two fun things coming up. So for the summit, Mike asked, what are people most excited to hear about from the summit? And he says he can't really pick who he's most looking forward to. Got Eric Villegas is going to be talking about beef patsies, a Michigan staple. It should be really good. He's also doing one of our cook-along lunches, making juicy Lucy's, which should be great. We have David Petranczyk, always does amazing stuff. He's with PolyScience, and Eric Villegas is with VacMaster. I want to make sure I talk about all the people that have sponsored us in the past. Dave Petranczyk's from PolyScience. He's talking about beyond steak and eggs. He's a big proponent of beans and rice and a bunch of other interesting things. And then he's doing the other cook-along lunch, which is a gourmet lunch. It's beef belugi, carrot puree, toasted coconut mai tais, which I think are smoked too. He is it's an amazing, gourmet lunch. So it should be really fun. I'm looking forward to seeing both of those. Gerard and AJ are always great. Gerard's going to be doing the lunch in the Pro Track. He's going to be talking about food waste and the advantages of sous vide and reducing food costs and, employment costs, something that is, key to a lot of restaurants now as they try to figure out how you can survive when you can only have 50% as many customers, if that. So it's something that I think people that are running restaurants out there would be really interested in the Pro Track, because we're focused a lot on how sous vide can make your operation run a lot more efficiently. And if you're having to kind of jumble up everything right now anyway, it's a good time to kind of look at that. And then AJ is also an amazing sous vide and chef, and she's going to be talking about pro tips for the home cook, which I'm really looking forward to. I've followed a lot about AJ over the years and learned a ton from her. And Eric, David, and AJ are actually our Friday opening Murderers Row to kind of start off the conference. So I'm really looking forward to that. So that should be a really good thing. So make sure you get your tickets through Darren's link and, come join us. It's going to be an amazing time. We have Joe says, where can I get the time and temperatures? I can put them back in the comments, but they are in the comments right now. And then I also have been working on a fun Facebook Messenger chatbot that can also help you with time and temperatures. I don't have the link directly in front of me, though I might be able to pull it up. Let me see here. There we go. Sorry about the multitasking there. If you are on Facebook a lot, you can check out our Facebook Messenger, and it's still in beta. So it's every once in a while, I think one of my friends said, how long do you sous vide Jason? And it said something about me smelling bad. So it's, seems he thought it was working well, even though I think it could use a little bit of tweaking, but we're still working on that as well. Like I said, if you're just joining us, we're hoping that Hugh joins us in a few minutes. Waiting on him, but I wanted to drop in and say hi. Let us know what you're excited about for the conference. If you have any questions about the conference or what you've been sous videing lately, or if you have questions about something that you want to cook and you want my input on time and temperatures or recipes, just let me know. I'm happy to kind of fill in and answer any questions you have. And then if Hugh doesn't join us in a few minutes, we'll probably drop out. But wanted to at least say hi and thank you all for seeing this scheduled and joining us. We didn't want to leave you all hanging. Mike said he's excited for Michael Kelly's mason jar desserts. He does a few and is looking forward to hearing his thoughts. Yeah, really excited to have Michael Kelly presenting. They're doing a lot of stuff with the Sous Vide Summit, and his work with Everidge is great, and we're happy to have them as the title sponsor of the summit this year. And mason jar desserts, I'm not a big dessert person as far as cooking, because I generally make too much meat and potato and then I get filled up on that. But for some of my courses, I did sweet potato pie in mason jar, and then chocolate pâte de crème, which is just an amazingly decadent, rich dessert that one of the testimonials that I used is I do improv, and I took a bunch of samples to my improv team. And so after practice, we were eating them. And so one of my testimonials is a picture of my friend PJ licking the inside of the mason jar standing on the New York sidewalk. So I figured that's about as good as a testimonial as you can get. That it's not even finger licking good. You just want to clean it out with your tongue. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I always love the pie guys. I can even pull up the summit site here, probably show you some of the other things. And like I said, if you have any questions about anything, let me know in the comments, and I will be happy to answer those and chat with you about any thoughts you have. Gerri Anderson says, thoughts on salt doing cooks. Group I'm in for most part says salt after. So I think salt is one of those things that doesn't make an enormous difference, but people like to argue about it a lot, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. This is a hobby and it's something that we really like doing it. I generally salt before. And the biggest complaint with that people have about salting before is sometimes it can add a little bit of a cured texture or taste to it, especially for like a brisket or short ribs you're cooking for 2 or 3 days. And in the test that I did, I prefer that a little bit more. It tastes a little bit beefier and meatier to me. I don't have a great palate though. I'm not a Michelin chef or even that precise of a home cook. I'm just an adventurous home cook that likes to have fun. So I couldn't tell too much of a difference. I don't recommend one way or another in general. When I talk to people, if they say they salt after, I say great. And if they say they salt before, I say great. But I tend to salt all my stuff before. I know Crea and Cuisine Solutions recommends when they're training chefs to salt before. But again, I think a lot of it comes down to preference. I've had good conversations with Darren on his podcast because I know he feels, very similarly that there's a lot of these things that are personal preference. And if you like it one way or another, then great. Some people like a grilled steak. Some people like a pan fried steak. One's not better than the other. They're just different ways to do exciting, parts of food to make good stuff. So what you like, do it as long as you're being safe and cooking outside of the danger zone. Mike also asked me to mention again the pro track for the summit. I wanted to pull that up. If there are professional chefs out there or people that run restaurants, we have an amazing pro track coming up. We have Chef Gerard from Cuisine Solutions going to be talking about the sous vide advantage and safety and labor and waste savings. We have Michael Kelly from Everidge talking about blast chilling and vacuum sealing and how that can improve your restaurant operations. We have Alexis Kukua from Sous Vide Kitchen about streamlining your restaurant footprint. They run Sous Vide Kitchen, which I got a tour, which was pretty amazing. They do, I think, 6 different cuisines out of one storefront, and it has about as many people in it as a small Subway sandwich shop does. And they put out, I think it's like 40 different dishes. All their stuff is cooked off-site, and then it's basically reheated in polyscience circulators there. They get their stuff from Cuisine Solutions, and they have a restaurant footprint that's minuscule while still being able to get out a ton of great food. We have Dot Long, who's going to be talking about trying to harness Instagram for restaurant businesses. We have Harmeet from Crea, who's going to be talking about how you can apply HACCP plans to sous vide. If you're a restaurateur, or a chef, that's one of the hardest things is figuring out how do you, do a HACCP plan and work with the health department. And she's going to be covering a lot of that. We have David Petranczyk from Polyscience talking about implementing sous vide into your menu. And Rich Rosendale from the Rosendale Collective. Super excited to have him on board. He's doing the keynote, one of the keynotes in the home cook section or the general section. And then for the professional chefs, he's talking about prepping for the future, sous vide and prepared meals. So we have a lot of amazing stuff for chefs. And we have 30 speakers in the general track, and all 30 of those are, apply to home cooks and professional chefs. And it's about how to do anything from pie fillings to brew beer to do mason jar desserts. I'm talking about chuck roast, time and temperatures. Kevin Liddell is going to be on talking about fermentation. Darren's about combining sous vide and the grill or smoker to make things you can't make with either one by itself. We have Meathead is coming to talk about sous vide Q. James Prusione's doing another keynote speech. Chris Young from Jewel is going to be there talking. Philip Preston from Polyscience. Just an amazing lineup of some of the biggest names in sous vide. So that should be great. Like I said, Hugh hasn't joined us yet, so I'm just answering questions that any of you have. So if you have them, keep dropping them in, and I'll keep answering as long as we have questions. Shawn Mckerness says, Mckerness, sorry, completely butchered that the first time. All the forms I do, and I have people on that I'm going to interview, I have them write down and then spell out phonetically, and then I practice it like 4 or 5 or 30 times, and I still mispronounce them. So trying to read them off comments, I almost always do it wrong. I kicked off the Sous Vide Summit 2019 last year, going really well. I had practiced David Petrancyk's last name all morning because Dave's just a great guy and has helped us so much. I was like, I'm not going to screw up his name. I bet everyone does. There's no way I'm going to screw it up. And I completely screwed it up. And then I said OF in front of the live audience. And this was about 5 minutes into the first conference that I ever emceed. So that started off very well. It went uphill from there. And I've now said his name, I think, right, probably 50 or 100 times in a row. So I'll probably just wait until I introduce him in 2 weeks at the conference. I'll probably screw it up then when it actually matters again. Darren's here. I'll get to Shawn's question in a minute. Darren missed the beginning, but he was sponsoring today's episode with his contest that if you buy through his link, you can potentially win a vacuum sealer from Vacumaster. It's a great contest, so make sure the link's in the comments. Make sure you check it out, and if you haven't got your tickets yet, buy it through there. So Shawn asks, once you have vac packed meats, how long can I keep it in the fridge? So this is really interesting. This is something that I wasn't aware of until I took the CREA class. They teach a 3-day sous vide cooking class. I think, Mike, can you drop the link into the contest that they're actually giving away a seat to someone in our pro track if you join their contest. But it's a 3-day, like $2,500 class, and it's just amazing. So what they talk about there is when you vacuum seal, you're removing all the oxygen, which, as we know, you can run into trouble with if you cook in the danger zone for a long period of time. And apparently the general air, they talk about this much more scientifically, and I glazed over. This was in day 3, I think, of the 3 days. So we can definitely ask AJ, and she'll give you a concise, perfect answer. But basically the general air doesn't spoil too badly, and you can tell when it's spoiling badly from the general things in the air. But when you suck out everything, it's still at temperatures that it's going to slowly go bad. But now you are in an oxygen deprived environment, and so the things that are going to make it go bad aren't actually detectable. You're talking about all these things that they can't think of it off the top of my head. Kevin can tell us, I'm sure, the bacteria that's going to grow, it can leave spores, and it can be dangerous. So vacuum sealing before you cook actually doesn't prolong the life, and it can actually shorten the life because you can't push it in any way whatsoever. So what CREA recommends is you vacuum seal it and you basically cook it almost right away. You can leave it in overnight or for a day or whatever, but once you vacuum seal it, you should cook it. And if you properly chill it after cooking, using their 3-stage method of leaving it on the counter, then putting it in cold water, and then putting it in an ice bath, you can then store it for 1 to 2 to 3 weeks without any negative consequences from it. But it's not actually going to help preserve it before you cook it. So that's what I learned in that class, which I would have thought the vacuum sealing helps, but it doesn't actually preserve any of the shelf life until you cook it. So be careful with that of trying to store it longer than you generally would, because it can still go bad. So it sounds like Hugh is going to not be able to join us. He got caught up at his university, so he's not going to be joining us. So you're stuck with me. If anyone has any more questions, drop them in the comments, and if not, I'll probably let you all get back to your lovely days, and I'll go back to my my sous vide prep for the experiment. I want to look at share some of the speakers here, because I can't wait to see our keynote speakers. Those are the 2 that I'm most excited for. We got, Rich Rosendale is going to be doing an amazing job. He's just such a nice guy and interested in working with us. And everyone that I've talked to has ever met him or worked with him loves hearing him speak, loves working with him, and has great things to say. And then Chef James Bricione from the Food Network, executive chef of Angelina's. He's just going to be very, very interesting from the work that he's done from cooking traditional Italian food. He also worked with the Chef Watson team to develop flavor profiles based on artificial intelligence flavor pairings, which is amazing. And he wrote the flavor matrix. So he knows more about combining, ingredients and flavors in unique ways than probably pretty much anyone out there. And he's going to talk about sous vide and where technique meets science. So I'm really excited to that. And he's actually be the next guest on the Exploring Sous Vide show Thursday at 6:30 Eastern. He's coming on, and I'm going to pick his brain for an hour. So if you have any questions about, artificial intelligence food pairings, how aroma affects taste, or just how you can make a great ragu using sous vide, then you can head to that video. Mike probably has that, and we can we'll ask them during the show. Should be a great time, and I'm really looking forward to having him there. Mike says, "Who does my hair? It's fabulous." Yes, it is. It's definitely quarantine hair right now, so it's a little bit out of control, but my wife likes it still floppy, so it's staying for the time being. So appreciate you all joining us. Sorry again that Hugh couldn't make it, but I had fun hanging out with you all for the last half hour. That was a good time, and always fun to catch up, answer some of your questions. And again, if you are interested in going to the Sous Vide Summit, make sure you get your tickets. It's going to be an amazing time. I know we were just talking about that a bunch, but I'm looking forward to it. And it's something that Mike and I have been working on for the last year. We have 37 speakers, 30 in the general track, 7 in the professional track. And it's just going to be an amazing amount of great information. I just put the link in again to Darren's contest giveaway. So check it out there, purchase it through him, and you have that chance to win the amazing Vac-Master VP 200 chamber sealer. So should be a great time. So this has been an abbreviated Jason only Exploring Sous Vide. We're all about helping you get the most out of your sous vide machine while talking to some of the biggest names in the industry. The next time, I'm Jason Logston. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you tuning in and listening to me talk for the last half hour. See y'all.